Hello, I'm Chyna and this is my mini design system for the brand BORA, which I created, and it is a Korean and Parisian inspired beauty brand that kind of blends the skincare side of Korean beauty and then like the makeup style of Paris. So for the we'll get into it. For the foundations, we have the typography, and I used Sesso for the actual logo, but I didn't use it many other places. And then I used Cormont Garamond for the display type as the kind of serif, and then New has Grotesque for the sans serif type. That's most of the buttons and things. So, and then you can see the scale along with where everything was used. See the buttons, and then I have these tags that I used, and they are very similar to the buttons. So yeah, then we move on to color, and I have a lot of colors for this brand, but I started with like these neutrals for backgrounds and text, and I knew I would need a lot of them. And then I really like the idea of these purples and blues, which I didn't really use the blues, but I have plans for them if this continues. So I really wanted it to feel kind of serene, so that's where I went with those colors. And then here you can see the tokens that I gave them, the hex codes, the primitives that they fell under, and then what I actually used them for. And then this is just an example of how everything was used. You can see the blues are not used yet, but that's okay. Here we move on to the logo system. So I do have I like this one as the primary, but this one of course has more applicable use for web and mobile, just because it fits better on a lot of things. The favicon is just the Korean version of BORA, and then here I just did the solid, and then for the construction I kind of used this first half of the Korean version as the unit and gave it one each on every side for the space. Here I have the minimum sizes, and then I have the incorrect usage, so this is not to place it on a busy background. This is a distorted stretched, which I guess it didn't like that. This is repositioning of the elements, incorrect color usage, and then like destroying, taking apart, removing pieces, and then textures and effects, no-nos. Components, here we have the card, so you can see it and it all works, and then what it's made of, everything, you can see that they're all there. And then I do have states, and you can see that there's a hover on the card and on the button, and yeah, it all works. Just some do's and don'ts for each of the usage. And then I do have the HTML if you want to copy and paste 300 of those. Navigation, this is going to be the nav bar, and then what it's made of, all the links, active state, and it does have a hover, and then the mobile menu is just the hamburger. So yes, we do have hover and active states, and then how it reduces, and then the HTML for that. We go down to the buttons, we see we have the default, the hover, and the active, and this is the active version technically, but for color contrast it's dark until you hover on it. Then here we have the tags. They don't change with hover state, but just some different tags to fill up the space evenly. And then here's what they're made out of, some guidelines, and some HTML. Next we have the page patterns. So we start with the basic web, then we can go on to the grid, tablet design. So it does get pretty small pretty quick just because of that image in the back. I want the text to still be readable. Then we have the grid here, all of it, and then we go to phone. And of course at this point I just got rid of the image because there was really no point in it. In the phone grid. Yippee! Now we go to the shop page, which was a lot more complicated. So this is the web version. The grid. The tablet version, which I already went ahead and condensed everything down into tablet mode. And then the grid. For that, the phone design, smallest it would ever be. And then we're gonna go down to the phone grid. Ta-da! Okay, and then something else fun that I did was I went ahead and hooked it up. So here it is. It only has 2 pages right now. It did take a long time, and this is still Laura Mipsum. But this is fun. This is fun. Yeah. I gotta figure out how to center her face a little bit more, but yeah. Fun stuff. Okay, goodbye.